Hi everyone. So firstly I would like to thank everyone who has watched my previous video, liked and subscribed on it. I got a lot of love on my previous video which has made my last week happier actually. And yes, uh, I generally create videos on the ideas which I get or as per my mood which chapter I like to demonstrate. But yeah, in case you have any preferred subject, preferred chapter, or preferred problem, you can comment it or mail me. I will try to make a video on that. Yeah. So this video is on current electricity. This video is just going to be the first 5-10 minutes of the chapter, giving you a feel of what is important, what is not. Later on, it will help you to grasp the chapter better. So firstly, current I is equal to dq by dt. It's the rate of change of charge. है सो यार कितना जल्दी चार्ज चेंज हो रहा है, कितने टाइम में, दैट इज इंपॉर्टेंट. चार्ज चेंज हो रहा है ठीक है, बट इन हाउ मच टाइम इट इज इंपॉर्टेंट, राइट? लाइक मतलब समवन इज डूइंग समथिंग इन 2 hours और समवन इज डूइंग समथिंग इन 5 hours. So in respect to time, having this definition is important. So some of the very basic questions which come is q is equal to some 7t square plus 3, find I at t is equal to 2 seconds. This is some of the problem statements, right? So there is simple thing. One is you have to apply this formula, differentiate, and another thing is it could also be that qt is integral of I of t times dt, right? And they could give you some equation of t like I is equal to 112t plus 3, find q at 3 seconds, right? Then you have to use this integral formula. So these are some of the very basic questions which appear in NEET. So yeah, matlab when I started, I used to earlier get scared whenever differentiation or integration used to come, and I used to just skip these questions. But these questions are not to be skipped and are very easy. And this same comes in NLM, friction, speed, velocity questions. These same things come. So I is equal to dq by dt. Whenever this equation is given, I have to differentiate, integrate. So some of you might not be aware about integration, differentiation. So this type of questions might look tough, but once you learn this, what differentiation is and what integration is, these are like go-to questions and are very easy to answer. So this is basics about current. It's a rate of change of charge. Okay. Next, let's try to understand what is current. Current is a scalar, it's a vector. What is it? It's actually neither a scalar nor a vector, it's a tensor quantity. It's a tensor quantity. What do I mean by tensor? Tensor is, it direction is important, right? Matlab current direction is important. Just to talk now, this is suppose I is equal to 3. It is important for me to know, right? This direction, it is coming here, 2 is going, 1 is going. If direction is not mentioned, I cannot understand. Current can be 5 there, 3 there, as per the direction, positive, negative, right? But there won't be any components here like v cos theta, v sin theta, theta, I cos theta. All these things won't be there. It's just direction is important, but yeah, vector laws won't follow here. So it's a tensor quantity. But if you have to ask me between scalar and vector, then it's a scalar quantity. Okay, so this is just to get a feel about what current is, and direction is important. Vector law does not follow. It's a scalar type of this. So yeah, this is current. Next, let's try to look at resistance. So what is resistance? Understand that resistance is something that will consume energy, right? It is something that will consume your energy. Resistance is only dependent on the material. It is not dependent on your current or your velocity or your voltage. Okay, so V is equal to IR. This is the famous Ohm's law. What does it mean? R V by I. It is constant. This is the simple formula. R is equal to V by I, constant. So again, this question appears in NEET. Like R will depend on the material. If you change voltage, current will change. If you change current, voltage difference will change, but the resistance will be constant because it is dependent on the material. So resistance is also clear. Another thing, like in physics, the field is very important. So now this is the resistance, suppose battery. Let's look at battery also. But these wires are connecting wires, okay? Now you might be saying here every material has resistance. So this also, these wires also will have some resistance. So everything will be resistance. This will be resistance. This will be resistance. Yeah, somewhere you are right. Everything has resistance. But for solving physics question, for making it simpler, we assume that here this is not no resistance. These wires have no resistance. Only wherever it is mentioned as resistance, only that thing is resistance. This is the assumption that we are going with. Okay. Now let's try to understand current density. So current density is another, it's represented by J. Current density. So understand the theory of it, okay? What is current density? Current density we say is I by A, okay? Again, matlab this is very basic, but this basics are very important to solve tough questions, okay? So what is this area? This area is perpendicular to the surface of direction of current. Area is perpendicular to the surface in which the direction is, in which the current is flowing. Okay. Let's try to understand. Now there is a conductor, suppose. Okay. There is a current which is flowing I. Okay. So now if I want to find across this, what is the current density across this? It is J is equal to I by A, which is very clear. Anyone can solve this question. Okay. Even and you just know the formula, apply it, you will do it because area is this. Now, if there is a tricky question is in if suppose area is like this and your conductor is like this and you are given this as A dash, how will you do it, right? You need to know the definition perpendicular to the surface of direction of current. This is your current, so surface has to be perpendicular. So this component you need the A component of A dash, right? You need this component of A dash because this is perpendicular to the surface, right? This area is perpendicular. So what is the general formula we write? We write I is equal to J dot A, which is I is equal to J A cos theta. So this is the vector representation of it, like J dot A or J A cos theta. Okay, what is the angle between J and A? So yeah, this is clear. So what do? J is equal to I by A, wherein A is perpendicular to the surface of direction. Okay, wherever the current is flowing, the perpendicular surface we take, we find the area. It is that area. So always remember this, that component we have to take and we have to solve the question. Okay, wherever this type of things appear. So current density is also clear. Now let's try to understand battery. Okay, battery is also interesting. So there is this battery, suppose, and there is this resistance, suppose. Resistance, you assume that it is a fan or something. Okay, so what does voltage difference tells us? Voltage difference tells us that we are free to assume voltage at one point. Okay, one point we can assume, suppose this is 10 plus minus. What we do? We can assume it to be 0 here. So here automatically it will be 10. 1 point assumption is fine. Okay. Now let's try to understand what this battery does here. So if current is flowing like this anywhere, what it means? It actually means the electrons are flowing in this way, right? Electron is flowing like this, current is flowing like this. But again, to make physics and understanding easier and solve questions quickly, we assume, okay, there is some positive charge E which is flowing like this, because of which current is also flowing like this. We just assume it. Now again and again, understanding the electron is flowing like this current, it might lead to some mathematical problems or some problems. So we assume here charge is moving like this. Okay. So yes, this is 10, this is 10. What is happening? If current is flowing like this, right? Current is flowing like this. What is happening? Charge is also flowing like this. Plus Q charge is also flowing like this. So charge is going like this, Q, 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 it is coming here, right? So imagine this. Charge has gone, it has come here, plus Q, it has come. Now this is higher voltage, this is lower voltage. Electric field is actually like this. And in chemistry only you will understand this further, but what actually it does is, what battery does, battery brings the charge from here to here. It brings the charge from here to here and it moves ahead, charge. Are you able to understand it? So battery, now you might be thinking electric field is like this, so charge should move like this, why is it like this? But I had earlier also told you, everything in physics has a rule to follow. So here what does battery does? Battery का rule है, charge यहाँ पे आएगा, इसको उठा के यहाँ पे लेके आना. It's the work done by the battery. There is a chemistry chapter on it and physics also. If you want, I can make a video on this. So yeah, battery का काम है कि यार charge यहाँ पे आएगा, उसको यहाँ पे लेके आना. So this is what happens now. Generally imagine charge comes here. Okay. What is energy? Energy is equal to Q into V. Right? Charge comes here. Charge comes here. यहाँ पे voltage क्या है? 10 है. So here, okay. Charge, the energy is 10. 10. 10. Resistance eats up that energy. The energy becomes 0 again. The charge comes, charge comes again here. It recharges in the battery. It goes again. So just try to imagine this flow, okay? There is this current, there is this charge Q, it goes here. इसका एनर्जी 10Q हो गया यार, यहाँ पे 10Q एनर्जी हो गया, वापस जीरो हो गया. So what is battery doing here? Battery is actually providing energy to the charge. It providing energy to the charge. That's the role of battery. It provides energy to the charge. Charge आएगा, ऊपर जाएगा, और ये एनर्जी कहाँ पर यूज होगी? This energy will use by the resistance, fan वगैरह, ये रोटेशन करने के लिए ये वाली एनर्जी यूज होगी. So what does voltage does? It actually gives energy to the charge, and that energy is used by the fan and all the resistances. So yeah, hope this helps you to understand. So मतलब majorly battery का क्या रोल होगा यार, ये plus V, ये zero होगा, मतलब voltage difference. But this gives you a feel of it, यार what actually the battery does. It gives energy to the charge. Hope this was helpful. So just to summarize, we covered basics of current, the direction of current, current density, resistance, and we understood some basics of battery. Yeah, hope this helps. Yeah.